Paul Harris, who founded the humanitarian Rotary International organization in 1905, was born in 1868 and lived until age 78, passing in 1947, shortly after Rotary played a key role in founding the United Nations. Rotary is truly a global organization, and we reflected on the history and philosophy of Rotary and why I recently joined my local Rotary group and some of the projects our local club is involved in, including mental health awareness. Paul Harris began his law practice in Chicago in 1896. He founded the first Rotary chapter with 3 clients and businessmen in Chicago in 1905 and subsequently organized chapters in surrounding cities. Initially, the club rotated its meetings in the members' offices, but Rotary quickly evolved into a community service first organization with business networking as secondary purpose. In 1910, the 16 Rotary chapters met for the first National Rotary Convention. 6 years later, the first International Rotary Club was organized in Winnipeg, Manitoba, in Canada. And these quotes from Paul Harris encapsulate the fundamental principles of Rotary: leadership through service, the importance of kindness and gratitude, the strength in diversity, and making a difference in the community. And one of the Rotary clubs went through the trouble of putting these key quotes of Paul Harris: fellowship and global understanding. The foundation upon which Rotary is built is friendship. On no less firm foundation could it have stood. And as an example, Rotary has an international student exchange program. And ethics and integrity. Whatever Rotary may mean to us, to the world it will be known by the results it achieves. Early in its history, the Rotary clubs adopted the 4-way test. The Rotary website states that the 4-way test is a nonpartisan and non-sectarian ethical guide for Rotarians to use for their personal and professional relationships. Other things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Now, the 4-way test is a restatement of the Golden Rule that is the core teaching of all Judeo-Christian traditions, encouraging fellowship among Rotarians. Famously, an inquirer challenged Rabbi Hillel, "Convert me to Judaism on condition that you will teach me the entire Torah while I stand on one foot." Hillel said to him, "That which is hateful unto you, do not do unto your neighbor. That is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Now go and study." Now, although Paul Harris attended church on Sundays, he visited many different churches and many denominations. He did not want to commit to any denomination, though he stated that these days one can hear the best of preaching over the radio, and I generally hear 3 or 4 sermons every Sunday. Now, Paul Harris would have been at home with C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity, which he summarized from his BBC broadcasts on Christianity during the challenging days of World War II, when Nazi Germany was bombing London, and afterwards. And we return to the sayings of Paul Harris. Rotary is a cross-section of the business and professional life of the community. And Rotary clubs worldwide are composed of members from various professions, races, genders, and cultures, reflecting their commitment to diversity and inclusivity. And under vocational expertise, service, and leadership, it is the privilege of each Rotarian to represent his or her vocation to other club members. And Rotary's Vocational Service Month encourages members to use their professional skills to support community service projects, mentor young professionals, and lead community improvement initiatives. Impact and leadership. Success is not measured by wealth, but by the positive impact you have on others. Harris believed that true success comes from the positive impact on others, emphasizing the essence of leadership as inspiring others to be their best, noting, true leadership is about inspiring others to be their best selves. Kindness and service. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Harris also believed in the transformative power of service, asserting the only way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And diversity and personal growth. Our differences make us stronger. Let's celebrate diversity. On personal development and societal change, he advised, the best way to change the world is to start with yourself. In the 1980s, Rotary started admitting women to its organization, and today women are leaders in Rotary. Proactivity and gratitude. Don't wait for opportunities, create them. He highlighted gratitude's transformative role, stating, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. The Brainy Quotes website has other sayings by Paul Harris, some of which we edited for clarity. Individuals and nations owe it to themselves and the world to become informed. In the clashes between ignorance and intelligence, ignorance is generally the aggressor. If there's anything worse than international warfare, it is civil warfare, and this has brought extreme bitterness to the United States. The higher the general average of intelligence, all things else being equal, the less the disposition to be meddlesome, critical, and overbearing. While the struggle for religious liberty had proceeded without large-scale bloodshed in New England and elsewhere in the United States, the struggle for political liberty has not fared so well. Ignorance is a menace to peace. Motherhood is at its best when the tender chords of sympathy have been touched. One's religion is one's own possession, and he has a right to it. It has been the way of Rotary to focus thought upon matters in which members agree rather than disagree. One's nativity is not his own choosing. Whatever it may be, it is entitled to respect, and all nations have an honorable place in the world's family. When an individual, a sect, a clique, or a nation hates and despises another individual, sect, clique, or nation, he or they simply do not know the objects of their hatred. They show their ignorance. In the cold, shivering twilight preceding the daybreak of civilization, the dominating emotion of man was fear. Segregation never brought anyone anything except trouble. Ideas have unhinged the gates of empires. The less one knows, the more he thinks he knows. The less one knows, the more willing he is to try to force his views upon others. In the course of time, religion came with its rites, invoking the aid of good spirits, which were even more powerful than the bad spirits, and thus, for the time being, tempered the agony of fears. Attempting to impose our views by force seldom exercises intelligence. It is far more often demonstrating ignorance. There is nothing in the genius of America more precious today than the spirit of religious and political tolerance. Many Rotarians are inspired by the sayings of the Stoic philosophers and other modern thinkers. In particular, the sayings of the ancient Greek and Roman philosophers, including Epictetus, Rufus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, and also modern thinkers such as Viktor Frankl, the psychologist who survived the death camps of Auschwitz during World War II, and civil rights leaders such as Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King. Now, was Paul Harris influenced by Stoicism? Although there may not be any direct evidence confirming this, he was quite fond of coining moral aphorisms that follow the Golden Rule, which is a key characteristic of Stoicism. The YouTube description includes a link to our PowerPoint script that we uploaded to SlideShare and also our blog. Please support this channel by sharing this video with your friends and by clicking on the like and subscribe buttons and by clicking on the Amazon links to purchase any of the books we discussed, which will earn us a very small affiliate commission. And please consider becoming a patron of our channel. Plus, we will host special discussion groups for our patrons. Plus, you can click on the Meetup or small M icon to participate in our online discussions, where we practice our future YouTube scripts. And please click on the links for other videos that will broaden your knowledge and improve your soul.